Every ocean that has ever existed on this planet had a monster at the top of it. Some of them you've heard of, most of them you haven't. And if you dropped a person into any one of these oceans, at any point in Earth's 4 billion year history, there's a good chance they wouldn't last 30 seconds. So let's go era by era, ocean by ocean, and find out exactly what was waiting at the top of the food chain every single time life tried to rebuild itself in the sea. We start over 500 million years ago in the Cambrian, in an ocean that had barely figured out what a predator even was. Most life at this point was soft-bodied, slow, and defenseless, which is exactly why Anomalocaris ruled it. This thing looked like a lobster crossed with a swimming mouth, using two grasping claw-like appendages to pull prey into a circular jaw lined with serrated plates. It was only about a meter long, but in an ocean where nothing had evolved real defenses yet, a meter was more than enough to make it the single deadliest thing alive. Move forward 200 million years into the Devonian, and the ocean has a new apex predator, and this one is almost unfair. Dunkleosteus was an armored fish the size of a school bus, with no teeth at all. Instead, its jaw was made of sharpened bone plates that self-sharpened every time it closed its mouth, and it could open and close that jaw in under a 50th of a second, creating a bite force strong enough to shear through the armor of other armored fish. This was an ocean where evolution had just invented body armor, and Dunkleosteus had already figured out how to go through it anyway. By the time we reach the Permian, oceans have gotten stranger and deadlier. This is the era right before the largest extinction event in Earth's history, and the seas were dominated by early sharks and enormous amphibious predators patrolling the coastlines. But the real threat wasn't a single animal, it was the ocean itself. Rising ocean acidity and falling oxygen levels were already destabilizing marine ecosystems before the Permian extinction wiped out 96% of all marine species in one of the fastest die-offs in the planet's history. In this ocean, you weren't just fighting a predator, you were fighting an entire environment turning against you. Then comes the Triassic, and the ocean rebuilds itself again, but slower and stranger. This is when Nothosaurus, an early marine reptile with a long neck and needle-like teeth, patrols shallow coastlines, ambushing fish from just below the surface. It's not the biggest predator we'll cover, but it represents something important. This is the moment reptiles fully return to the water after millions of years on land, kicking off an arms race that will define ocean life for the next 150 million years. The Jurassic takes that arms race and turns it into a full-blown horror show. This is Liopleurodon's era alongside Pliosaurus, enormous, short-necked marine reptiles built almost entirely around one of the strongest bite forces ever recorded in a marine predator. These weren't chasers. They were ambush killers using scent and vibration to track prey through murky water before ending the fight in a single decisive strike. If you had to pick one ocean on this list where you had genuinely zero chance of surviving an encounter, most paleontologists would put Jurassic seas near the top. Cross into the Cretaceous, and the crown passes to Mosasaurus, a marine lizard, not a dinosaur, that could grow past 15 meters long with double rows of teeth and a hinge in its jaw that let it swallow prey almost as large as itself in one motion. Mosasaurs ruled the final ocean of the dinosaur age, and when the asteroid hit 66 million years ago, they went down with everything else, proof that even the deadliest predator in the water couldn't outswim a mass extinction. After the extinction, the ocean goes quiet for a while, genuinely quiet, ecologically speaking, as marine life slowly claws its way back from near total collapse. But by the time we reach the Miocene, roughly 20 million years ago, something new rises to the top. Megalodon, not 80 feet long like the myths claim, but somewhere between 15 and 18 meters, with a bite force estimated at over 108,000 newtons, the strongest bite of any animal ever measured, living or extinct. This wasn't an ambush predator like the Jurassic pliosaurs. This was a predator built for raw, overwhelming force, capable of crushing whalebone in a single bite. And finally, we arrive at the modern ocean, the one you actually live next to, and the deadliest predator in it isn't a shark at all, it's the orca. a hunter with echolocation pack tactics and a documented history of coordinated attacks on prey many times its size, including great white sharks. Evolution spent 500 million years building bigger jaws and sharper teeth, and the ocean's current apex predator won not through size, but through intelligence. So which of these oceans was the deadliest? If you're talking pure immediate lethality, the ocean where you had the least chance of surviving even a few seconds, most of the evidence points to the Jurassic and Cretaceous seas, where ambush predators like Liopleurodon and Mosasaurus combined size, sensory tracking, and bite force into something almost no other era matched. But if you're talking about the ocean most likely to kill you even if nothing attacked you at all, the Permian takes that title, an ocean turning toxic and lifeless in real time. No predator required. Here's the uncomfortable truth hiding underneath all of this. Every single one of these oceans eventually lost its apex predator. Dunkleosteus, Liopleurodon, Mosasaurus, Megalodon, every single deadliest animal in the sea, at some point stopped being the deadliest animal in the sea. Extinction doesn't care how strong your bite force is. So next time you're in open water, remember, you're standing in the safest ocean that has ever existed on this planet, and it still has an apex predator swimming in it right now. Comment which era's ocean you think you'd have the best chance of surviving in. And if prehistoric oceans keep you up at night, subscribe, because next week we're going even deeper.